If pressed, I could probably come up with a list of things about Agile that are not ideal. Today, I'm going to talk about just one of those, and then I want to hear from you. Hi, my name is Gary. Welcome back to the shed at the bottom of the garden, and welcome to Development That Pays, the channel where we... Actually, what is it that we do? It's a question I've been musing about over the last few weeks, and at the beginning of this week, I put up a poll to ask what you thought might be a good tagline for Development That Pays. The options were your Agile Survival Guide, Getting Stuff Done Without Losing Your Mind, Agile for Mere Mortals, and Agile Gain Without the Pain. Which one, I wonder, would you have chosen? Here are the results. I have to say, I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. And interesting, isn't it, that the top two results both have some element of pain, annoyance, frustration built into them. And it had me thinking back to my first encounter with Agile and the first time I experienced some frustration. If you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I was dropped into an Agile team at the BBC, a team that was doing Scrum, although I hadn't heard of that term just yet. And my initial impression was one of, well, fascination. I'd never seen anything like it. The daily stand-ups, the planning meetings, retrospectives. I think we even had beer from time to time. So yeah, initially it was all fascinating. But that wore off quite quickly, and I shared a frustration, and I think many people do, maybe especially on the coding side, I don't know, maybe with other roles as well, that I felt like my time might be better spent doing more coding and doing a little less of these various meetings. Ceremonies, I think they were called back then. If you know the full story, you'll know that the team split in two. One team went to do kanban, one stayed doing Scrum. And that was when I started to take notice of what both teams were doing, to compare and contrast, and eventually get to a point where I understood why we would spend time at the beginning of the week planning. I understood why we would spend some time at the end of a sprint doing a retrospective, doing a sprint review. The pieces started to fall into place in my mind. And that's when I discovered my second frustration. And that was when I started to understand, I wanted to help other people understand so that they would be less frustrated about some of the stuff they were doing. And I found that I was very poor at communicating that. Long story short, that's the origin of Development That Pays. It was me getting my thoughts together on these various things, these crazy things that were happening in Agile, and putting them down in a coherent way that would hopefully be useful to explain to others. So that's two or one, depending on how you look at it, pain points from me. But I'm interested to hear from you, especially your first one. So can you remember back to your very first or second maybe experience with Agile and what it was that first annoyed you, frustrated you, drove you crazy? I hope that never happened to you, but if it did, I'd really love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments. And as you've continued your Agile journey, I wonder if that pain has been replaced by a different pain, perhaps something even more acute. If so, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know in them there comments below, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.